You've definitely seen the headlines about those blockbuster weight loss drugs. And if you're in the fitness world, you've probably heard the buzz about supercharged recovery. Well, the hidden connection behind all of it? It's a class of molecules called peptides. They are kind of quietly remaking medicine and performance, and today, we are going to pull back the curtain.
So here's the game plan. We're going to start with a quick primer on what peptides actually are. Then we'll get into the celebrity peptide that's changing so many lives, and the underground biohacker peptide that promises almost mythic recovery. But most importantly, we're going to navigate the danger zone of where you get these things before asking that ultimate question. Is this a true health revolution, or are we just playing a high-stakes game of bio-roulette?
Okay, first things first. Before we get into all the miracle cures and the real controversies, we all need to be on the same page. You hear the word peptide thrown around everywhere, but what does it actually mean? Turns out, the core idea is incredibly simple. At its heart, a peptide is just a short chain of amino acids. You can basically think of it as a mini protein. And these aren't some weird substance made in a lab. Your own body is a peptide factory. It's constantly making over 300,000 different kinds to run everything from your digestion to releasing hormones. They're totally natural.
So what's the actual difference between a peptide and a full-on protein? This slide shows it perfectly. It really just comes down to scale. On the left, you've got the peptide. It's short, it's simple. Think of it like a text message, a little signaling molecule that carries a specific, quick instruction. Now, on the right, you have the protein. It's way bigger, way more complex. Think of that like a giant crane doing the heavy lifting, all the structural work in your body. That small size is exactly what makes peptides such amazing messengers.
All right, let's talk about the peptide that has just absolutely exploded into the mainstream, even if most people don't realize that's what it is. Yep, I'm talking about the active ingredient in drugs like Ozempic, the GLP-1 agonists.
And, the impact can be really profound. This quote from a patient, it's not just about losing weight. It's about a total shift in her quality of life. Better workouts, more energy, a whole new excitement for just every single day. It really shows that for a lot of people, the effects go way, way beyond the number on the scale.
But the whole conversation around these drugs is super divided. It's really split into two clear camps. In the bullish corner, you've got what looks like a miracle, a tool for life-changing weight loss that might also cut inflammation and even boost brain function. But in the critical corner, you have some serious red flags, the potential for dependency, the crazy high cost, and the very real risk of losing precious muscle mass right along with the fat. So, how do clinicians actually manage these risks? Well, they build a protective strategy around it. First, resistance training becomes totally non-negotiable. You got to protect that muscle. Second, a high-protein diet is key to give your body the building blocks for that muscle. And third, the whole protocol is managed really carefully to make sure weight loss is slow and steady. No rapid drops that cause problems.
Now let's switch gears. We're going to move from the mainstream pharmacy to the, let's say, edgier world of elite athletes and biohackers. In these circles, the name that gets whispered around is BPC 157. It's a peptide that's been nicknamed Wolverine for its legendary, almost comic book-like reputation for healing.
But that Wolverine reputation, it forces us to ask a really critical question. We hear all these incredible stories and all the underground hype, but are people jumping the gun? Is this supposed miracle compound actually ready for people to use? Or is the excitement getting way, way ahead of the science?
I mean, the potential is undeniably exciting. Based on animal studies and a ton of clinical observation, it's thought to be a powerful anti-inflammatory, to speed up healing in those really stubborn tendon and ligament injuries, and maybe even make your body's own growth hormone work better. You can see why athletes are so interested, right?
And yet, here it is, the giant asterisk. The critical, you can't ignore it flaw: there are no large-scale, proper human clinical trials to prove any of this is safe or effective. All of this incredible potential is, for now, built on anecdotes and animal data. It's a leap of faith into the great unknown.
And that lack of formal approval, it pushes us directly into the single most important part of this whole explainer, the danger zone. Because when a substance isn't a prescription drug, where you get it becomes a question of safety and, frankly, of personal risk.
And let me be perfectly clear about this. Where a peptide comes from is everything. The difference between a legit source and a sketchy one is the difference between a therapeutic tool and a potential contaminant that you're literally injecting into your body.
This slide lays out the two starkly different worlds of peptide sourcing.
On the legit side, you have compounding pharmacies. They're regulated by the FDA and state boards, their products are actually tested for purity and sterility, and you need a doctor's prescription. On the other side, you have the research websites. This is a dark gray market. It's completely unregulated, purity is a total mystery, and the products are often just riddled with dangerous bacterial junk.
And this risk is not a what-if, it's real. Experts report seeing severe, life-threatening allergic reactions, I'm talking anaphylaxis, from these gray market peptides. These are compounds that are literally labeled not for human consumption, and people are taking a massive gamble by using them.
And the whole situation just got even more complicated. In late 2023, the FDA cracked down. They put BPC 157 and a bunch of other peptides on a list that effectively bans regulated pharmacies from making them anymore. And the unintended consequence of this, it's unfortunately pushed a lot of curious people away from the safe supply and directly towards those dangerous, unregulated websites.
Which brings us to our final and definitely most important question. When you weigh all the incredible potential against the stark lack of evidence and the very real dangers of this unregulated market, what are we actually looking at here? Is this a genuine game changer for how we heal? A revolutionary leap forward in medicine? Or is anyone using it today just volunteering for a global, uncontrolled experiment, playing a dangerous game of bio-roulette with their own health?
For now, the real answer is still locked behind the vault of future science. The only key is going to be found in those large-scale, rigorous human trials that are so desperately needed. Until those happen, the world of peptides is going to remain what it is today. A fascinating, incredibly promising, and undeniably risky frontier in our quest for human optimization.